It's Wednesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Moriah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Nima Akasha Zabiri. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm grateful to God. So, the Dorcas Cancer Foundation is having an event today and it's online. I posted it yesterday on my Instagram. It's just like, an opportunity to discuss, to raise awareness about childhood cancer. It's the International Childhood Cancer Day campaign. And we are doing what is called access to better care for children and adolescents with cancer care everywhere in Nigeria. And we are speaking today online. People can call in, ask any questions. We have about 6 facilitators who will be helping. And a life coach is there, doctors are there to help with, even nutritionists. Any question at all that you have, the link is www.tdcf.ng. And on that website, you can link us with us and have a meeting with us today at 4 p.m. Nigerian time.
Oh, okay.
That's what we're doing today.
Like a Zoom meeting?
Yeah, it was like a Zoom meeting, yes, but it's open to everybody.
Hello, Mariam. How are you doing?
Post-Valentine, how did you guys spend yours? So for me, because I did well, so for me, I made sure I prepared dinner. So I had cake, I got chocolate, wine.
Nice.
And I prepared the place. My daughter was in the way constantly. Oh, I'll help. So help to set up the place. Then we're not having dinner, and she joined us. Then she stomps out of the dining. And then she goes, they were like, what happened? Why are you upset? She says, you people have just been talking to each other. When I talk to you, you don't answer me. We're like, Auntie, you don't realize that this has nothing to do with you, but just come. So, yeah, we had a lovely time, honestly.
It was a family Valentine, right?
It ended up being that.
How nice. Cute. How are you doing?
Hey.
How was your Valentine?
My darling sisters, I was at a personal and menstrual hygiene program organized by Rewired African Network. It was about sanitizing the girl child. So that happened in Ikorodu yesterday. We went to that particular secondary school. We delivered talks to the students. The students were so excited to have us, especially the lady who talked on sex education and how they could take care of their body. And then we started having conversations with them on abuse, sexual abuse, and it was funny how a lot of them had questions concerning that issue. So we had to give them that Lagos State number where you could call if you have any of those issues, and a lot of them were willing to just have that conversation. Then afterwards, I had a friend's birthday party. She was turning 40.
Oh, nice.
I stepped in to stay a bit with her, then headed home. So I did not celebrate Valentine in my house. My guy is still upset with me, but I'll find a way to compensate him.
Nice. My own Valentine. That's not going to ask. So I got home, right? And so we were supposed to have dinner. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, the plan was let's go for a restaurant close by, right? That's why I suggested in the morning, said they said no problem. So I got to the house. I saw him all scampering for dinner, eating dinner, and then 6 o'clock, I said, that's my last meal of the day. 6 o'clock, I'm not eating again tonight. That's my last meal of the day. I'm going upstairs to watch a movie. And I said, no, but I didn't say anything. And he went upstairs to go and watch a movie. Then around 8 o'clock, I went upstairs to have my bath. Hey, let's go out now. I'm like, Ross, leave me alone. You know how I want to twist it? When you had no plans before, you're now telling me, I said, I'll report to your national television. But at least, Valentine is not for us.
Sometimes we need to push this thing. Where are you? If me, I want to go out, we will go out. That's it.
You would insist.
You would have been dressing up and everybody you would insist. Because if you don't set this,
if you need to.
You cannot be blaming somebody that does not have that kind of time.
But they already planned it now.
People already know that Valentine is the day you spend quietly.
And
I have
we
to
still
initiate.
take it.
Yeah, you have to. Don't assume.
Okay, you have to.
You have to initiate it. You have to keep initiating
Okay, well, in my own marriage, I had to set the standards for.
You just keep.
My husband did not have birthday parties till I married him. So in my house, if you see us doing birthday parties,
it's you.
Because I want to do it. We do our
don't give up so easily. Keep pushing.
She's not giving up, but me too. I want to call Mr. Brown. I think you can do something today. There's always a day after you can make up for it.
My poor P.
You may have forgotten.
I told my poor P, my P, not poor. I told my P, I even used to. You can't even suggest to Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Now it's
why people are
just. She now is going to suggest. Man just. Get out of my sight.
Are you kidding?
Like, bro, so classic. All right, guys, let's go on a break. It's just our Valentine's gist, but it's all good. Hey, fingers are not equal. Some people have romantic Valentines. Others just accept the fate that God has given to you. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
All right, let's start with the nation. Legal giants knock Emefiele. I was going to call him Emefiele for disrespecting Supreme Court. Tinubu will deliver as president, Buhari tells supporters at Imo rally. Lifts UAE visa ban on Nigerians. Enemy demand to rise. So energy demand to rise, says NNPCL. And NACON to screen airlines for Hajj operations. All right, so which story are we starting with in the nation?
Should we start with NACON?
Okay, please.
Go ahead.
NACON is the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, and they're already in full gear for the 2023 Hajj, which I'm hoping to be on. And they have been to, according to the chairperson, they've been to Saudi already. They are doing the pre-Hajj visits. They are doing screening for service providers. They've also given slots to the 36 states across the country. They also have given 95,000 seats have been given to NACON, which is for the Hajj, which they have already distributed among 36 states. And all the full year plans are on. And I found out yesterday that for the Hajj this year, at least in the minimum, you spend 3 million for Hajj. I compared it to what my parents spent in 2000 for their first Hajj. But again, we're working hard.
You have the money, Nima.
All right, let me take the major headlines. So many of the legal luminaries have condemned Emefiele for disrespecting the Supreme Court order that February 10th deadline should be lifted. According to one of them, Professor Sage was saying that Emefiele's attitude towards the subsisting order was highly contemptuous, and he was not alone. So many other legal luminaries, such as Chief Ajibola Aribisala, Mr. Hamed Raji, and others had also condemned him. Particularly, Emefiele was saying that there is no need for extension of the February 10th deadline for the old notes because they've already stopped being legal tenders. So there's no need to consider any shift from the deadline of February 10th. That means that he's totally, deliberately disobeying the Supreme Court order. Now, the federal government has said they will not say anything until after today's ruling because the Supreme Court will be hearing CBN's counter suit today. And they're going to say that, according to Malam Garba Shehu, he said that we wish to state that it is not true that the federal government or the CBN have taken a preemptive action on the legality of currency as a legal tender in view of the pending case before the Supreme Court. So hopefully we can hear categorically from the federal government today. But Emefiele is insisting, it's calling it Emefiele is insisting that he would not obey Nigeria's Supreme Court order because he is above the law.
Wow.
That's the
and that is
part.
where
so
legal
the
luminaries
EFCC chairperson is presently in contempt of court, is refusing to obey court orders. The CBN governor is beyond the Supreme Court of the country.
Wow.
Under the watch of the president, this abuse of rule of law is normal. It's painful.
This is normal.
So, President Muhammadu Buhari intervened in the diplomatic face-off between Nigeria and the United Arab Emirates, which led to a visa ban on Nigeria wishing to travel to the Middle Eastern nation. We remember that happened in October, where they slammed the blanket visa ban on Nigerians traveling, even excluding those who have their diplomatic passports. But they said the UAE did not specify the reasons for the decision, but some people were suspecting that because Nigerians have been misbehaving in their country, and that's why it happened. So in a telephone conversation on Monday, the president spoke to the UAE counterpart Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, who I think lost his mother-in-law. And in that statement, while he was, commiserating with him, he reminded him that they have to strengthen their relations as a country. They've had very, interesting relations, especially with businesses and the economy, and it was time for them to look into the visa ban and see how they can lift it for Nigerians. They also said that they're going to support them. If any Nigerian misbehaves in their country, they will go through the judicial process, but it's time to lift the ban. So hopefully, Nigerians may be able to travel to the UAE very soon.
Okay, so I have a story. This at the 7th Sub-Saharan Africa International Petroleum Exhibition and Conference, SIPEC, that was held in Lagos, we had the Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPCL, Mr. Mele Kyari, talking about the expected increase, and he put it between 30 to 35% increase for demand, for energy demand in Nigeria and across Africa. And this is because we're going to see, because of a projected increase in population and industrialization. In talking about it, also mentioned that, you know, following the passage of the Petroleum Industry Act, the act is providing a lot of clarity in governance and also what the host community benefits, the host communities that crude oil exploration happens benefits. And then he also says that as we're restructuring here in Nigeria, ironically, it's also the same time where, you know, globally, we're looking at different forms of types of energy, more sustainable forms of energy and investment in that regard. And so asking Nigerians and all those who are investing in that sector to look, you know, towards the future and see how we can invest in that and capitalize on the investment in technology as well.
The Punch, Naira crisis worsens. NYSC warns corpers against crime as orientation ends. Trapped earthquake victims cry for help. Deaths now 41,200. That's in Turkey. Lagos pastor bags life imprisonment for impregnating 2 sisters. Contempt, EFCC kicks as CSOs demand Bawa's removal. Expulsion, Nnamani sues PDP, IU restates backing Tinubu. Revenue Commission to review politicians' salary. And U-turn, INEC to keep sensitive election materials with CBN. Okay, which story are we starting with?
Let me take the human interest story. So, an Ikeja High Court has sentenced a 51-year-old pastor, Unduka Anyanwu, to life imprisonment for defiling 2 teenage sisters. So the story is he is a pastor and he's befriended a churchgoer. And this man has 2 daughters. At the time of the defilement, she was about 15 when he introduced her to the pastor. And the story that was corroborated by the father and the pastor is that she was handed over to him by the father as a wife. And also, he had promised that he would send that child abroad. She's 17 now, so this happened 2 years before. And then eventually, whatever, she had a child for him. Then her younger sister, who is 15 now, but 13 at the time, he defiled her as well. The parents were shocked to find out that he had also defiled the second one. Meanwhile, they had willingly given the child, the 15-year-old to him. The court has sentenced him to life imprisonment, but also said that the police failed in their duty for not arresting, for the parents, because it's purely parental negligence.
Child trafficking also.
Yes. But the father also is guilty of, you know, aiding the defilement of his daughter. Yeah. He should not be free.
At all.
Together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have the story from Syria, from Turkey and Syria. So, according to the reports in the Punch, the death toll has gone up from 32 yesterday to 41,200 today. And they said that emergency rescue operatives are hearing voices underground. Yeah. They were able to rescue a woman yesterday in a region, a 35-year-old woman who had been buried for 205 hours. And they keep hearing voices. People around are saying they can hear voices under the rubble, but they can't reach those ones. UNICEF is saying that they fear that the death toll for children will increase because in that area they have over 10 million children on the Turkey side, about 2.5 million children on the Syria side, and so they're looking that children will be more affected by this.
They haven't found those children.
They've not found. So they're expecting that for children, death toll number will continue to increase because originally before the quake, they had 10 million on the Turkey side and 2.5 million children on the Syria side.
This is one of the most painful disasters.
Painful, very painful. But they were able to rescue a 17-year-old and a 21-year-old, 2 brothers yesterday also. they're still working hard, but you know, they need a miracle if they would save more lives.
All right, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with our review and punch. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Staying with us? Thanks for staying with us. We're going to move on now to Daily Sun. Elections under threat, INEC warns. Old Naira notes no longer legal tender, says CBN. Southeast should ignore call for election boycott, says Obioha. EFCC CSOs kick against attacks as anti-graft groups petition National Assembly against Bawa. G5 court extends order barring PDP from suspending Wike. Policy somersault impeded Nigeria's quest for its own satellite, says Obasanjo. And Atiku Tinubu unveil plans for Southeast zone to benefit more voting, says PDP. Okay.
Okay, I will take cashless policy may truncate conduct of polls. This is INEC talking. So with barely 11 days to our general elections, INEC, the FCT Resident Electoral Commission, Yahaya Bello, said that as we know, that as they are seated here, 99% of us are affected by the cashless policy. So he's talking about the FCT. He says INEC is also affected. We have over 2 million polling units. And before the elections, we're going to employ services of vehicle providers. And we have a lot of meetings with NURTW. We also brought in maritime workers. We have more than 12,000 adult staff in the FCT. And we're going to give them cash, food, and none of them will take check. None of them will accept transfer. There are 12,000 people that will require 5,000 each on Friday night. And then also these people are going to transport our materials and the security at polling units. Anyway, he's saying all this. And you cannot expect to give these people 5,000 naira and then they'll go to the POS to withdraw cash and pay 1,000 naira on it. So this is not affecting just, you know, a few of them. It's affecting the whole logistics of it. And he says that this is not just the FCT, but nationwide. And, well, I guess they would hear what Epeifele said today and what he decided to do.
Okay, so the EFCC, EFCC along with 30 other civil society groups have alleged that all the protests that's happening around Lagos and all of that is sponsored. And they even went as far in the Sun to mention that it was sponsored by elements of the Kogi state government following the arrest and ongoing prosecution of the relative of the governor, Yahaya Bello. They say that they are pushing with those protests to force the EFCC chairman to vacate office or resign. And that the issue of the contempt of court was 3 years. It was a court, an order of the FCT, High Court, and that order was 3 years before the appointment of Bawa as chairman, and that it's a quasi-criminal process, and it must be served on the person, and it has not been served on the EFCC chairman. This also, in this report also, they quoted the spokesperson of the EFCC, Wilson Ewujare, who insisted that it was all sponsored. They are not going to vacate the office. I know the EFCC has a plethora of SANs on their side who can tell them what is necessary to be done if the EFCC chairman truly is in contempt of any court. If the office of that is presently holding is also in contempt of court, they must also establish that rule of law follows a certain pattern. They must not come and be joining issues. You know, in Nigeria, when you're in office, you say, no, it's my detractors. Let us see the rule of law go, just as we're asking of the CBN government.
You know, I've been wondering, because he's being called, like, this is almost the second court case, right? And I'm wondering if he's going around Nigeria doing his business, can someone sit in for him? Can his lawyer be there for him? In his place? Or must he...
If he insists on showing up as a key witness himself, he must show up.
Sure. So a former chieftain of National Democratic Coalition, NADECO, Raf Obioha, has called on the Southeast to vote and ignore those calling for election boycotts. He said, contrary to speculations, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party has the backing of Igbo elders. And it's not like they just picked him because he's from an Igbo extraction. They took their time and waited till they were sure that he was a man that they would back. That the only thing they see now that might dissuade a lot of people from coming out to participate in the general elections is the fact that there's an aspect of IPOB, a disaffected aspect of IPOB that is, telling people to boycott the elections. But they know that the mainstream IPOB are not interested in people boycotting the elections. They need people to come out and vote for the person they want to vote for. And so the government has to do something about those sections or those factions of IPOB that are insisting that people must boycott the election so that we can have a free and fair election and Igbo people can come out and vote for the person that they believe in.
So the former governor of Edo State, Senator Chimaroke Nnamani, has sued the PDP over the disciplinary actions against him for his alleged anti-party activities, according to the suit that was filed before the Federal High Court in Abuja. He was saying that they said that the PDP had alleged that he had anti-party activities because he had declared for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Of course, that is not anti-party activities. But he was saying that he was not just extolling what Tinubu had done, but saying that he was actually filing that suit to get them to reverse. He's been suspended or expelled from the PDP. Okay, moving on now very quickly to Vanguard.
To the G5 if they expel him?
With no need extending deadline for old no, says CBN. Buhari 6 end to blanket visa ban on UAE. Polls, we oppose interim national government, says Afeni Ferry. Fani Kayode, watch your utterances. DSS wants political parties. And Naira swap, cash crunch takes toll on small businesses. Nima, did you take that? Which story are we taking?
The Department of State Services, DSS, has asked political parties to apply restraint in their utterances prior to and after the general elections. They gave the warning yesterday in a statement by the spokesperson, Peter Afunaya, hours after the Minister of Aviation and Director of New Media in APC Presidential Campaign Council, Femi Fani Kayode, was questioned over the tweets that he made. And they said that in the tweet, he alleged that the presidential candidate of the PDP met with some army generals. So they had called him to have, comments from him and question him on that comment. And they're advising that we must be very careful in making comments to avoid violence. We must not incite the populace with all of our comments. They had, granted him bail, but he's still under their watchful eye, and they're going to be calling him from time to time to question him some more. So this is more like a warning to everybody who believes that they have a stake, who will talk and people will listen. We need to be very careful this period, not to incite anyone or anything.
Okay, let me take Afeni Ferry. Afeni Ferry spokesperson, National Publicity Secretary, Mr. Jari Ajayi, was telling the president yesterday to resist any temptation to foist an interim national government on Nigerians. According to him, he was referencing what Governor El Rufai said recently, where he was saying that there were elements within the presidency who are trying to force an interim government on us because their own candidates is not in the race. Afeni Ferry said that we are making this call because sacrifices we, alongside many other Nigerians, dead and alive, have made to ensure that we have civil rule should not be cut short by these intentions. Said that we've had 24 years of civil rule and 6 transitions between civilian administration, and we shouldn't have this disrupted by elements within the presidency that are trying to force an interim government. And this is all based on what El Rufai said recently, and we must be careful. Okay, moving on very quickly now to the Nigerian Tribune, our final paper for this morning. No need to extend February 10th deadline, says a PMFili. 7 killed, 9 houses burnt in Benue court clashes. Tinubu in Imo promises to continue APC's programs. Atiku in Enugu says PDP will form the next government. Don't heat up politics. DSS wants politicians. Currency as legal tender. FGCBN to take stance today, says presidency. And no to interim government, says Afeni Ferry. Okay, I'm taking most of the stories here.
Did it take what Garbashaw said about the deadline? He's saying that, MFLA yesterday was video to have announced that, that the deadline of 10th of February stands. But he says, no, that's not the side of the presidency, that they have not taken any stance on the legality of whether the old notes are still legal tender and that they would express their position today going forward. So
yes, and then sad story in Benue State, 7 killed, 9 houses burnt. They said rival cult members on Sunday clashed. This happened in Boko in Benin State. From eyewitness accounts or hearsay, they're saying that it started when the two gangs were, remembering what had happened in September last year. I think there was another cult clash September last year, and they were boasting to each other which rival gang was more superior. And to show which rival gang was more superior, they now went into the streets and picking out houses of rival gang members, burning people. In the end, about 7 people were killed, 9 houses burnt. Anyway, the police are on it. They have arrested 30 people so far. They say they're going from one place to the other and arresting them. Can you imagine?
Lawlessness.
Just talking. Ego, nonsense ego. You're talking and all of a sudden you're killing people and causing mayhem.
Okay, that is all we can take on today's front page. When we come back, we'll move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So there's a hot topic that's pretty trending that I'd like Nima to establish for us. Nima, please do the honors for telling us exactly what's happening in Nigeria.
Okay. So yesterday I was just minding my own business. I saw on Instagram that they have arrested a group of armed robbers, gang of armed robbers terrorizing Amagba area in Benin City. And among the arrested people was one popular socialite and TikToker called Rich Major. Now,
Major.
Yes. This person comes online to flaunt luxury cars, houses, bundles of money in this same season.
A paid season.
That we are in. You will be doing phone call like that.
Bundles.
Ashe is an army robber. But the police now... no, it's... we're speaking for Benin people.
Okay.
Army robber, only Morocco. So they put them inside...
But you see,
them.
and one of the interesting things, Nima, in
At
that
this
story
time
is the fact that when I was trying to read the comments, many people were saying that people were focusing more on the fact that he was flaunting the wealth rather than the fact that this action was wrong. So their issue with you is not that you stole or you're an armed robber, but the fact that you're flaunting it on social media.
That you were stupid to be
flaunting it.
Yeah, but you see, which
you
way
are
is
making
more?
young boys run for things that they can't reach.
No, I want you to get. We'll get there. There are 2 points.
Yes.
The point I'm trying to make is that there's a real problem that he stole in the first place. That should be the crux of the issue that he stole.
Really is different from robbery.
Now, armed robbery. Now, the fact that he flaunted it, many people focused on that as if that was more of a crime than the fact that he stole.
No, I don't
that shows of that's the moral, the perception, the morality of the situation.
I don't think anybody will sit down and be happy that somebody is a thief or somebody is an armed robber. I don't think anybody will sit down and, just ask for forgiveness for that kind of a person, because you would put yourself in that shoe. If it was my house they had come to rob, I could have been killed, I could have been maimed or something.
Yes,
so
or
the 2 issues there is, one is a low-hanging fruit. We are already having conversations on how people go on social media, flaunt wealth, and then a lot of other people are depressed based on those actions. So you are putting in the work on one side, and it seems like God is not blessing you. But those other people, I don't know what they are doing, that God is blessing them so much and they're having so much. So that one is an issue that we are dealing with as a people already, and we have been asking.
Let me ask you.
I get where you're going.
We'll come to you. Let me come to that, what your point just made. Many of our coaches will say, don't care what anybody, how they feel is not your problem. It's what you do. So whoever, I can flaunt my wealth. hey, it's mine. You didn't work for it, I work for it. So people who don't think there's a problem with allowing people to flaunt. Why am I worried that you're depressed? Why you now? Why should I suddenly not be worried that somebody is depressed because of my flaunting? We say the coaches will tell us on all the media,
they don't say you should flaunt your wealth.
They'll tell you
because
that
we know
somebody's depression is not your business. It's not you.
No.
If they're depressed because of what you did, it's not your business.
No. Morayo, let's not join the issues together. Okay. There's a limit to, there's a moderation in what you do. I don't see an Oprah carrying bundles of dollars and using it to make a phone call. But Oprah can, but Oprah can go on vacation and keep memories, show memories.
What if I get depressed by her vacation?
No, that's it.
But she's legitimately...
she's working for her money. She's showing you, she's keeping her memories for, whether for you or for herself. If it depresses you, you should sort out yourself. But if Oprah carries bundles of money and is showing you that, this is who I am now, I am major, I am this, I am... When Oprah posts pictures of her vacation, she's not telling you that I am so wealthy. She's just telling you this is the time I am having. So there's a difference. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is not as if Nigerians forgive you for armed robbery because it seems like a lesser sin to us. No, that's not the point. The point is you now you know it's not legitimate. You are now flaunting it in our face.
Okay, I get your point, but I have to tell you that sadly, there are many people in the comments that are more incensed that he flaunted it, that he was stupid enough to flaunt it. That is what is paining them. And there are counter conversations where people are saying, Nigerians, I cannot believe you, that for you, you think what he has committed is the crime of flaunting, not the fact that he is an armed robber. And we need to talk about it. There's so many times in Nigeria concerning so many things, we concentrate on the mundane, we concentrate on the thing that is not important. So there are two things. There's flaunting, there's crime. But the conversation here today is that we have young boys who are going as far as armed robbery so that they can show the world that they have some sort of money that they do not have. We have a social media culture where we have to show the best sides of us, the sides of us that's happening, and some people are going to they are going to get it by hook or by crook. That's the saying, right? Okay. And Nigerians are not questioning how... So there are videos of them spraying a lot of money, doing a lot of things. That is where you should start asking questions. But we know in Nigeria, at that point, if you were to ask questions, they will say you're just jealous. Because look at them. Money. These are young boys. They're not musicians. They're not footballers. They're not athletes of any sort. I mean, that's demography that we see young people with a lot of money. You're not children of known wealthy people. So where are you getting your money from? We must ask those questions.
So go to parties and ask us spraying bundles.
If you're withdrawing large amounts of money like that, you have account officers. Are they questioning how you earn that money, how those money got to the bank that you're able to withdraw that sort of money? Which business? Where's the address of your business? So if you're a TikToker, where are the receipts showing that money is being sent because of your influencing job or anything to your account? We need to do better as Nigerians. We must not wait until they finally catch you flaunting money. Young children, you see them doing all sorts of things, and we're too afraid to ask.
Miriam, I totally agree. But I must also agree with BC in the sense that the two are together. Number one, that is one and the same.
It's different.
So in this place, in Nigeria, yes, sadly, if he's told to pay his mother's hospital bills, even if he had killed someone, would ask the court for leniency. Would say he had a reason. We would not say he thought criminally. He was criminally inclined to solve his problem because all of us check when we get problem. But we are all looking for ways to solve it legally. Some people are criminally inclined. They'll just say, okay, let me just take somebody's own. And so would excuse it if it was for, some sentimental reason. But what is enraging Nigerians is that...
It's for play.
You turn armed robber just so that you be a big boy. And then you pepper us so that we will start running, trying to get the money that you did not legitimately earn. The two are joined.
I agree with you.
So we are just upset that you're an armed robber and they're giving us pressure.
On top
That you're young.
On top of the crime.
For money, you did not.
We can't stop with two sides of our mouth.
No, Morayo.
Let me tell you.
I'm making a point about how we see things on the side.
And is it right
and no,
to see it that way?
It is not
right,
alright.
right or wrong.
We are still upset that it's an armed robber.
Yes.
Okay, no, you're not.
No, you're not. What you are saying to me that
I'm explaining to you.
No,
I've not told you what I said.
If his mother was sick.
Explaining to me that if his mother was sick, we may be lenient.
That's
but
what I said.
know that there are some countries, we have heard your mother was sick, but you denied another person, maybe killed another person's mother to get this amount of money.
Doesn't make it
What
right.
is bad is bad, and that is why.
Calm down. It's bad. So here, even though we'll be lenient, we will understand him.
That leniency is a problem.
Magba. Even though we would understand him, that something pushed him to, doesn't mean we would excuse the consequence. In Nigeria.
Wait, let her finish.
Now for our mind, we would say, that boy, my mama PTO, but he will face the firing squad if he was in the military days, or he will be condemned to death sentence in today's laws. So we will not say the court should not carry out the process. We will not, except maybe in a big man picking. Then we know Nigerians always change the law as you're popular.
Let me bring this point, Nima, because there was a recent video I also saw, somewhat similar. A lady stole provisions from an estate supermarket. And the security guard saw her and was removing the cans of milk, beverage and everything. And the comments were like, it's too much now. Even the security guard, his own issue was that it is too much now. Even if you're going to take small. More like even if you want to steal, so maybe just one or two tins of milk, and maybe one that would have been okay. Would have this is too much now. So it starts saying,
so you're saying that
is the gradual excusing of these crimes. That gradually we think it's okay because there's poverty in the land. Because everything it's okay now. He was hungry.
So let's look at it this way. There's also a place for mercy. Okay. No crime. See, even if you commit crime against or you commit sin against God, and he forgives you, you will bear the consequence of that sin that you have committed. It's like a child that goes to get pregnant outside, and then your parents forgive you and take you in. You go still breastfeed the pikin. Now you go still push the pikin come out. You will still stop school for a time to take. Do you understand? You will still face the consequences. But the place of mercy is, let's look at all the options. Not everybody is so strong-willed to, in the face. No, I'm not making an excuse. Just listen to how we think. I'm telling you how we think as a people. Yes. Not everybody will go through, and even abroad. That's why they have, when they have all these crime, no matter how tough the crime is, they have the jury system to look at all the options. So you bring people from different professions, they will sit on the panel and they will look at all the options. While you are fuming that this person has committed this crime and should be hanged, the jury can decide, because we have looked at precedents and where he's coming from and the reasons behind what he has done, let us mellow this punishment so that he takes this, and at the end of the day, we are reforming this human being. The idea is not to kill this human being, but to reform the human being. And they can reduce the punishment.
Yes, it happens with
and it's okay. So for me, it's not about right or wrong. It's just how we see things. So now you have gone to steal. We are hustling here. We don't have the opportunity. We go online. We see people going on vacation, doing things. I'm like, hey, when will my time come? And then you're flaunting and making us look stupid. The people that are hardworking. So we're upset that you have stolen. We are more upset that you are putting it in our faces. And I think it's also valid.
Okay, so there's something called systems. It's a system that checks you. Not based on how I feel. Okay, today I woke up on this side of the bed. Forgive him now. Today is a good day for me. Just forgive him. The reason why we are demanding that Nigeria become a systematic system such that everything goes through the books. So even though you took 10 chips and it's because your daughter is hungry, you took it, you will, because the system says the fine for this, the sanction for this is this. You do 10 years in jail per chips that you stole. That's the system. Regardless of, it's because my mother was sick or because of, so we need to get to that point mentally as a people that it doesn't really matter the intention. Now, the justice may therefore consider intention based on the constitution, based on the books, not based on, to be na mama nine. You know, let us create systems, and that system starts from our mind. That's the same person that we are. We go into the law, become a lawyer, we come into government, we go into with this same mentality thinking, we can forgive now, we just die, mama's sick. So as a people, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
As a people, we must be able to change our thinking for our system to actually work.
What they are looking for is culture.
Yes.
We have now imbibed a culture where some kind of stealing is okay. this type of stealing is okay. I gave you 5,000 naira to go and buy me petrol. You went to go and buy me 4,000 naira petrol. After all, it's just 1,000 naira I took out of it. I gave you money to go to the market to buy things. I gave you 20,000 naira, but you decided to spend 15,000 naira or 17,500. After all,
let me ask you something.
just
people now gather. And that's your problem.
Yeah,
only 1,000 naira now.
Big woman like you.
Yeah, only 1,000 naira.
You know, meanwhile, I was raised by a mother that when I took one small note like this and I bought sweets down the road, the way she punished me, I thought I had, you know, for me, the fear of that. Yes. And that is how I want us to look at every situation because of, you know, because of our younger ones coming up, because of a time like this. Look at these children. They are young boys. They are young boys that, see, I know this one is even for a fact. There's some group of people where if you were to do something with them, if you have for people that throw like public parties, there are some children that come from, yes, you can see that they are coming from maybe disadvantaged or vulnerable, financially disadvantaged homes. And some of them have been taught to go and take things. Yeah. So you're doing a normal party, other children are having fun. Some children will go to where they put the party packs and take much more than they need. Yeah. And do you know when they are running away, who are they handing it over to? You see their mother sitting on one side and they are collecting it. They are seen as smart children. The one that comes and waits for when whatever is given to them is given. They are seen as foolish children. And that's the conversation we're teaching them. What do you think that child is going to grow up to? That when I go somewhere, and Nigeria's money has been given to me, the treasury is opening to me. I'm smart now. I'll still fetch and go and give my mother because that is how smart Nigerian children are raised. So we have to change the mentality, the culture. We cannot allow this sort of thing to happen. Our children we are losing our children to crime because we are trying to understand things.
But the culture, this culture that allows such criminality is not just even from this. There's also the culture of when you're a young boy, you're 40, you've always worked hard, and you've always lived within your means. Some group of Nigerians will say, you don't want to arrive, you're not hungry, you don't build house at 40, why will you be on a salary? Some people have created businesses, calling it people who speak life into you, telling you at this age you are dead if you're living within the means. It
prophets or what?
Yes, not prophets, motivational speakers who call it motivation speaking, calling wealth into you. So you must arrive at a certain age.
For this
no, they will pressure. We pressure young people. We pressure people who must within at a certain age. You're okay in your room and parlor self-contained. How many load do you have? They'll tell you why don't you have the load you don't need.
Recently, Nima,
this is when you are dying that you remember that.
Marry somebody that doesn't have a job. I was watching. I'm like, come on, man. There are people that
started like that. So you make it seem like the world is upside down. There's a particular standard, only one way of doing it. And so this young boy, I look at this boy, cannot be 30. I look at him.
No, he's not.
I look at him. You have not 30. What does he want to do with a bunch of naira beyond spraying it and arriving at a party and being a big boy? And flaunting, and so his friends are calling him big boy. And the girl dating him is dating him because of the less cash. But we have a culture that allows it. One mother will be telling her daughter, you know, see boyfriend like Anna boyfriend. Anna boyfriend buy motor. Anna boyfriend, they give him mama money, but you go come back, go back. They follow this string trouser. You have that culture, so it's everywhere. So if we talk about what our cultures allow, we cannot leave this table.
So let me
we cannot. Even this yesterday, Valentine.
Let me tell you why I think our culture degenerated like this. It wasn't always like this.
It wasn't like
we
this.
had our spiritual, traditional systems that would punish you for crime, even if it's yam you stole in the marketplace. They will naked you, take you around the village square, you will sing and people were able to hold themselves and correct themselves because they know that when the elders here or Umuada here, you are in trouble. People respected themselves. Now, when the politicians came into the equation and started siphoning the money they were supposed to use to maintain simple lives. Nigerians are not asking for too much. Give us good roads. Give us proper clean water. Give us quality education. You know, just make sure that our lives are easy. I go as a classroom teacher and I'm comfortable. I'm able to do one vacation in a year, even if it's to Abeokuta, to go and, you know, I can afford to. I'm not crying that I'm not able to take my mother or my father to the hospital because there's no money. There's healthcare. Nigerians will allow the system work. But when the politicians came and we started seeing them carry the money and save for their great-grandchildren, the mindset had to great. The mindset had to change, because you know that, see, no matter how much all of us on this table think we have, we are one sickness away from poverty. God will not let it happen. We are one policy away from poverty. How much do you think you have? You just spend that money and that is it. And you come on TV and you are begging for people to support you. So nobody wants that life when the people who are supposed to help us have a normal life are the ones siphoning money and training their children abroad. People had to start thinking, what can I do? And unfortunately, a lot of people are resorting to crime. It's not an excuse, but this is where the mindset. So you will understand. You will understand.
Where did they come from?
They came from us.
So where did they learn it?
They learned it from our colonizers.
Yes,
darling, they did. Yes. They learned it from our colonizers. Our forefathers were not like this.
We have to go.
They learned it from them.
Let me go on a break, because you see, another problem we have.
But they are not stealing. The colonizers are not stealing.
Another problem.
We are not a colonized
like this.
Another problem
our colonizers are still stealing from us.
Is that we always point the finger.
We have to look.
Somebody's fault.
No.
We have never said, I as a people, my father refused to, let me finish. We've never said, my father refused to teach me Yoruba properly, to give me an identity as a Yoruba girl, such that I can face anybody, a Frenchman, a Japanese man, I can face them head to head, not feeling like I have to be English. These are little things that we all
were colonized for Christ's sake.
I'm telling you that we all have responsibilities. They didn't just come, somebody opened doors for somebody to come into our house. There are different angles, different levels.
We continue this conversation because I have an answer for you. We were colonized as a people.
Nobody say we're not colonized.
We lost our identity. It's just now, Mure, you listen to me. It's just now that some of us are now beginning to understand that we actually have an identity. You will not blame the people who all they saw was somebody who was superior and above them. You will not blame them. Your mindset is different from theirs. We're trying to correct it right now. But for you to say that I was only going to the root cause, it's not like I'm passing blame, but I'm just trying to remind you where this our culture started from. For you to heal in your future, you must take lessons from the past.
I'm going to go on a break.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll discuss the fact that it wasn't only Africa that was colonized. That's the whole. Thanks for staying with us. So we're taking back our conversation to the armed robbery young man who went to steal and then was displayed on social media. But there was a comment I was going to take. It says, this is from, says, Ellen, I lost that name. You have any comments? One take?
Okay, so I wanted to say, this culture did not start from just our colonial masters. Before they came, our people lived minimum basic lives. So you're one hut, your several wives, and your plenty children. But the moment our needs went beyond basic, we needed to do more to meet it. So slavery started. We sold ourselves, sadly, because some people would say, no, they stole us. Yes, they did steal some of us. But some people thought, you're owing me, I would sell you off to recover the debt. And so we sold ourselves. That started from there. We were not satisfied. We moved on to hijacking people's kids. If it's somebody else's child, it's okay. But if it is your child, then you think different. And that mentality is how we started this. That's why in their own country where they refuse to sell themselves, they put in policies that are general, social welfare of their people, common wealth of their people grow together. But here, I will just take my own for myself and my children. I will amass enough that their children, until one generation becomes stupid and gives up everything, then we'll start afresh. But I would amass it. And that's the mentality with our politicians. And it got worse, not just with the colonial, it got worse with the military. When it was time for the military, you shook hand and pack. You pack it with your full chest. Whether you can chop it or not, you choke on it. You pack the one that will bury you. You bury it, you do that, and the big boys, and they came with power. Their money is matched with power. So they are going, they want you to clear from the road. You do not clear, they will shoot up in the air. Everybody will scamper. They can even shoot at the crowd. And there was no consequence. And so our people tested wealth without explanation and power. Absolute power that corrupts absolutely. And so we are here now. Every young boy now who has gone to school cannot find a job. The mother will ask him, how is your friend meeting up? their own family needs. People are moving into houses their children use their own money for. It is not armed robbery. You know, people would excuse.
Yeah.
And so
it's our money they are spending.
We've lost our values that are moral.
Let me take this comment.
And we are here now.
Let me take this comment from Ifeoma Eleni Toba Johnson. She said that to tell you how bad this attitude of not coming together to condemn when a crime happens, do you know it contributes to some of the deaths we record in our schools, where parents castigate other parents who try to put the schools on their toes, are booed, insulted, and embarrassed. That attitude is real in our society and part of why our leaders are not accountable to us. That's another person's perspective. So I guess we can see it at different levels in our society and how we do.
I see what she's saying, because let's talk about traffic. Someone is doing the wrong thing in traffic. And you that you're insisting that, okay, I'm not moving until you turn back and go the right way. Everybody like, hey, your own is too much. What is it? Just move. And then you say everybody will wait for the person who is doing the wrong thing to get away with it. How dare you? So it's
a school bus with a full bus of kids do one way. Saying that because they are children, they just need to get them, showing them what example, and then we wonder in 10 years.
So it's the same cycle that we keep doing, and sometimes we need to highlight these things, because when we drive, when we walk around, we think, oh, we are the good Nigerians. But guess what? We all have things that we do in different ways. All of us.
We are no longer patient.
Let's take a few more comments and we wrap up on this.
Okay. CP Ngo says there are many more like him. The people know them, but they want the police to employ magic to fish them out. Irresponsible citizens incubating criminal elements is our bane, and that's the truth.
Yeah, Tone says poverty is a spirit and it manifests in the way successes are celebrated and displayed. The society has gone down morally. The need to live in extravagance at all costs is alarming. They are supporting either.
And this degenerating culture we talked about earlier. I mean, I was going to link it up to even the way we dress. You know, yes, I'm not one to talk about judge people's dressing, but we've seen that. What the pastor was saying recently that he doesn't understand people's wedding dresses anymore. He doesn't understand the kind of wedding dresses people make. Like, everything is just up for show. You're thinking, okay, is it that, yes, your husband might like, I have a brother who likes his wife looking very sexy. I mean, and when I was fresh from Nigeria then, and I used to go and see him, I used to wonder, how can she? Because I had an Nigerian mentality. All she was just wearing was a tank top or maybe like a nice small top and a pair of jeans. But for him, it was too much. And I used to wonder, why would you let your fiance go out like that? I guess she looks good. And I'm thinking, But then, now I know better. But then, it was really bizarre for me to see women half naked just walking around. So, is it that our thinking is yet to change, or maybe we are the ones exaggerating?
We're getting worse by the day.
Is it that we are getting worse, or should we begin to adapt or realize that it's not a big deal? They're not doing anything promiscuous.
And then we reach here with the refusal to call out a bad thing for what it is how we got here. So now we go to parties with our small children, 2 years, 3 years old, and all the children you are winning out of breast milk.
They are looking at another breast.
All the breasts are everywhere. See breasts everywhere. In the name of fashion, they will pop it up. They will do all sorts of things. I can't even imagine. So these days, I just prefer sitting in my house because you can't tell people how to dress. It's the truth. Or if I must attend, I don't carry my children. We don't have any standards anymore. You are the one that I cannot believe is my friend attending her own father-in-law's burial. And she wasn't mourning. She wasn't
Everything
mourning.
was
I had
out.
to ask her, I'm sure I'm the only one. Auntie, are you sure at the burial site? No, I said, no, it's a celebration of life. Oh. The breast was up to here. Popped up. And the husband was dancing beside her. Her husband likes her to dress
pop up like that
at his father's burial. We must talk sense.
When it comes to dressing, I believe that there's dressing for every occasion. And yes, and I feel that sometimes we misdress for some occasions. Some people don't do it knowingly, and with some people, with experience and going out and exposure, they learn. For some people, it's you can actually see there's lack of exposure, and the more they see, the better they become. Even the very wealthy people that we like to emulate and want to be like and show that we are, almost in the same, they understand the rules. And so for me, I think what shocks people is to see something that is not meant for a particular place displayed for, in a particular place. So I've always said that here in the South, I've always been shocked by the fact that when it's a funeral, people are dressed to the nines for funeral. I'm like, how are you not in mourning? How are you like this? Are we at a nightclub? I've seen that. But it's a culture of the people, and they're doing it, and they're saying that, yes, and they call it celebration of life. And when they explain it to me, I get it. It's a celebration of life. But for me, where I come from and how I was raised, it's still a no-no. It's still hard for me to understand that. So, for me, is raise our children to understand that modesty and the word I'm looking for is not, just moderation. Moderation, especially when it's important. Yeah. Know where you're going and how you should be dressed in that.
We're evolving. The world is a global village, and we're seeing that tank tops and shorts is not a big deal. Back when we were growing up, it was like bomb shorts. What do you call it? Bomb shorts and tank top was like we don't just wear it around. But when you now go have a bit of exposure, realize that it's hot. Wear the bomb shorts and the tank tops, even if you are full chest, where you are hot. There's nothing wrong. It doesn't mean that you are being promiscuous in any way. So with that evolution or with that thinking in mind, is it just about appropriate dressing to the right place? Because if my church doesn't have air conditioner and I feel that and I want to worship there, I can wear a short dress, something light, and just cover my hair, and I still feel okay.
So, Mariah, we're evolving in different directions because we don't have a sense of identity. Yeah. We don't have we don't know where, as a country, we don't know where we are going to. Exactly. We don't have a vision board to say, okay, this is where we want to be in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20. No, I'm just telling you, if you are doing a business and you can't project to say, this is where I want to see myself or I want to see my business in the next 5, 10 years, you'll be doing things anyhow. By the time you get to that 10 years, you are still where you are if care is not taken. But if we begin to look inwards, what is a Nigerian? What can we be known for as Nigerians? Do we hold on to a culture of decency where because you're a Nigerian, there are some things you cannot wear? Because you're a Nigerian, when you're going out, there's certain ways that you have to present yourself. We need to start understanding that as Nigerians and helping our children understand that. But if we have to follow every trend, because that's what's happening now, once you have money, small money, every trend that happens, every outfit that is brought, you see people killing themselves to buy, I don't want to mention the names of the designs, but they must wear this and they must wear that and they must wear this and they must have this name in their house as their shoes and everything. That is how it starts. There's no direction. So tomorrow they bring out spaghetti and bring out macaroni, and you have to buy it because that's the trend. But if you have, and it has to start with individual homes. If you say in my house, so this is how we dress, this is the culture, this is our
old school.
It doesn't matter what you call me. You are in my house, when we finish that one and you go to your house, you can create your own culture.
Let me take this call from Osasa. It's calling from Majekule. Good morning, Osasa.
Good morning, Madam Mariah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. I want to just contribute for this your issue of women dressing. You see, we ourselves here, we can't control everything. Government need to put
government again.
I'm telling you.
I'm point fingers. It's never us.
Government need to put some laws about this dressing. Because if you say let us control ourselves with this, we can't.
You can control yourself.
I'm telling you the truth. We see everything in our area here. All because of money issue. I'm telling you the truth.
Thank you very much, Osasa. So again, what I want us to see is that we always say somebody did something, somebody's government that did it, is the colonizers, it is the father, sometimes we as human beings must begin to take responsibility for our own actions. Yeah. We as a people must say, okay, I'm not going to take one way. I am not going to
litter the floor.
I'm not going to, we as human beings must begin to take responsibility. Yeah. Let's stop this culture of it's government. Government has not done this.
Government cannot tell you how your children will dress in their house.
It is the drivers. It is the schools. Somebody's always responsible. Yeah. All of us do.
There's freedom and there's regulation, and that's where government comes in. So we're all free. We're doing democracy, but we're free to do. But if you do not have a regulation, there will be no. What BC is talking about, that national code, which is not just your family, because sadly, people have family values different. But if you join us, it's not collective. That's why when you marry, you start to do different from the one you were raised. Yeah. Or you end up as a child spending your holiday with your father has taught you, different. You just learn to do different when you get to Rome and be a Roman when you get out. So
So we have to wrap up on this. Let me just let you final comments.
Yes, I was going to say that I think we can say in Nigeria, we can call ourselves a conservative country, conservative culture. But in every country, there are some people that will do things a bit differently. Even the America that we would point out and say they have, they dress anyhow. There are some communities and some states and some places that when they are more conservative than others, that even when they see the things that we see and we open our mouths, they open their mouths alongside us. So, but you would find people who are coming from abroad, coming to Nigeria, and they will say that they are dressing more conservatively because they know that they are coming to Nigeria. So I believe that we have a code, but the generation that the younger generation, we're influenced globally. Now, and I did not also want to make it about just women dressing. Our younger men, much younger, the boys in 20s, maybe 18, they are braiding their hair. They have longer hair. While the girls are cutting their hair really short, the boys have longer hair. They have earrings on. They are painting their nails. You know, even the dressing now is androgynous. You know, fluid. You can't really tell. So, whether we like it or not, global fashion affects how we put ourselves out. But you know that in Nigeria, if there are places you want to go to and you dress like that, whatever you see, you get. You want to go to an office and you dress with your long hair.
You will not get that job.
Okay, that's all we can take. I think we can end with that. But in a nutshell, really, this conversation started from the young man who stole money, but then flaunted it on social media. And we're just talking about how the identity, how we put pressure on each other, how people's priorities have changed, how community, families, loved ones, we've all just changed our priorities because everybody has commercialized everything, and it's all about how much money you can bring in and how much you can flaunt. But at the same time, we don't want to forget the crime of stealing is equally bad. That's what we can take on this segment. We'll come back, we'll bring in our guest for today. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. One of the things that we love about Wednesdays is bringing women who are doing great things to the show to celebrate them. And we have one today. We have with us somebody who I think is doing one of the animation, which I think is really, really big, especially in schools. She's been helping so many young people in getting some kind of animation. I think we have Bisola Oseni. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much
for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So tell us about yourself, how you started, and why do you think it was needed at the time you started?
Okay, so basically, my name is Bisola Oseni. I'm a happily married mom of two. I'm Nigerian. I'm proudly Nigerian. So I did my secondary school so I finished my secondary school in Nigeria, and then I went to London for everything else. So A-levels and then university. I went to Imperial, studied maths and computing, and then economics at LSE, and I've got an INSEAD MBA as well. And I'm a chartered accountant, ICAS, and
wow,
ICAS and SCCA. So like Nigerians, you know, like the Yoruba parents, you keep working. In fact, my dad wanted me to do a PhD, but I thought, wait down, calm down, leave it there, you know. And for business, I do, so work, in terms of work experience, I worked at EY London, Shell as well, and then I came back home because I felt I needed to make an impact. I've always, the day I left, I always said I would be back to give back to the community. Okay. And I've always been one that likes to get very, very involved in things as well. And I saw the direction Nigeria was going. It wasn't the same Nigeria I left behind. So there was a need. Nigeria then was happy. People were happy. It was a community raising kids. Now it's just us and everybody's angry and hungry. So I felt something needed to be done. And then the way you get treated, I rose to a particular level abroad, but the way you get treated over there, you are not the same. You are still a second-rate citizen. You may have the British passport, the American passport. You are still a second-rate citizen. So to be a Nigerian, so I felt I had to come back home to make an impact. So for me, that was the main thing, coming back home to make an impact. And then in terms of the work I do normally, I'm a lifestyle and business consultant. But I got into animation and content production, and that was because of my first son, actually. So we had a school trip. So I was in one of my school runs. This was about 6 years ago. And we had a school excursion. And then I had to give him 1,850 naira for the excursion. And I wanted to give him the exact amount so that he didn't need to worry about change. So I opened my purse, brought out the notes, but I realized as I was bringing out the notes, he actually could not tell the denomination of the currency from the color.
Are you serious?
So I thought, what's going on here? So I noticed, I saw he was looking at numbers. I thought, this is strange. Because I remember when I was young, once your mom is bringing out the money, you're already calculating how many your biscuits and VIP you can, sorry, VIP, you know, the orange one with the green top. You're already calculating how many can I get for this amount this woman is giving me today, kind of thing. So I said, not a problem. So I was a bit perturbed. So I said, where is Ikeja? And he goes to me, what is Ikeja? No joke. And he hits me like a thunderbolt. I was indeed bringing up a Nigerian child in Nigeria who knew nothing or little about the country was residing in. So that for me was a problem. So I said, is it because we're going to because we go to a British curriculum-based school? I said, is that the problem? But I went to an international school in secondary school. So I didn't think that was a problem initially. So I said, could that be the problem? So I went to school. I spoke to the teachers who were very, very welcoming and they showed me the curriculum. We did not have a Nigerian studies, but we had something called African studies. So when I looked at the curriculum, I realized Nigeria had become a dot on that curriculum. So they touched on Ghana, all the other countries, and Nigeria too was one of the dots. And we're here. So I'm thinking, there's something about it. So I asked all the mothers. So this took a week. I did some research. So I asked all the mothers, like, do your kids know this? They said, we have the same problem. Then I thought, okay, maybe, like I said, British curriculum school, American curriculum. I said, to the Nigerian ones, Corona, Green Springs, Alpha, do you guys know this? I said, 2 months ago, the principal was in the playground interacting with the kids and asked one of the kids, what state are you from? And this kid literally said, Lekki State. So I said, okay, so surely it's not just the curriculum thing. It's in Nigeria. So I asked around. So I realized the problem was prevalent everywhere. So I said, something needed to be done. So I spoke to the school. I said, okay, how about I start in an after-school club? So I called it Proudly Nigerian After School Club. Because what I found was kids were not proud to be Nigerian. When I enter a room, it's like, I'm Nigerian, respect, drop, I'm here. You know, the presence is there. There's that feeling that I'm here, I'm ready to go. Let's go. Is this what needs to be done? Let's do it. There is that passion, there is that feeling, there's that pride.
We can feel
you know what I mean? It's the energy. And that was how we were, at least most of us were brought up. We were raised that way. Exactly. But so I found that was lacking. So hence the name Proudly Nigerian After School Club. All right. So that was.
Let's get a few questions in.
So what does? Okay, go ahead. So what happens?
After School Club. So I told my friends about it. Like, Bisola will come. They now personally on the same day they had dance classes and football. Obviously, you can guess what happened. Nobody came. But I told my nephews, I said, people are going to support family. So I dragged them. There were only like 3 of us in the class. I learned how to make, we would watch a video by a friend about Nigeria, make kites from newspaper, things like that. Just getting back to old school. So I did that for first time. Second time, attendance was not very encouraging. So I said, okay, no, I obviously need to shout louder. And that's why I came up with this animation, 13 episodes, teaching kids what they should know about Nigeria. And hoping that will be the catalyst, a call to action to make Nigerian great. Because we would always say, Nigeria would always be better during our children's time. But do we realize these kids don't even know about Nigeria? And then the question is, how can you love something? You don't know. Exactly, that you don't know about. I can't say I love you if I don't know about you. Same way I cannot say I love my country if I don't know about my country or even know what is lacking or what it needs to do. So that's it.
I love
Thank you. I'm super proud of you because I'm there. Okay. I'm constantly wired that way, thinking if my kids don't love this country the way I do, then I failed as a parent. But I focus so much on the language. Recently, I've started focusing on, my culture. I'm an Edo girl, and we're loud. We're proud. We're like that.
Loud and proud.
Loud and proud. Yeah. So I thought, I've always been a Muslim girl. I fought to own the identity of Islam, but I want to balance it for my child. So when she turned 10, I put together a photo shoot for her where she'll be an Edo girl from stage 1 to last. All cultures, all dressing of the Edo, but we didn't do it because of something, so we've postponed it. I also took them out recently. My kids, fortunately, know everywhere they go. Okay. They know Nigeria. They know Lagos, at least. Yes. It's a good thing. But you see, people, we need to do more in terms of what you said. Yes. We want to go to Canada. We want to Jackpot.
Yes.
And we forget that when they go, they sort of come back and they're lost. How do we merge this? In your club, for instance, some people will say, Nigerians are loud. Yes. If you enter a place, a Nigerian enters a place, you see us. If you are blind, you will see us. If you are deaf, you hear. Yes. How do you balance it? How do you balance it by silencing them, or are they still loud as children? Are they proud and, you know.
So the club, in terms of the after-school club, since I saw that was not working, I stopped doing that.
Okay.
So I brought the after-school club in animation.
So
exactly, in terms of the content, so basic things like national anthem.
Okay.
They don't know it. We knew that. We sang that every day.
Every day.
But assembly night is probably once a week. So they don't have, I guess, the opportunity to learn that. So things like the pledge, past heroes, resources, languages, like you said. Some people think it's uncool to speak your mother tongue.
We're meant to
but I tell my son, if you go to the market, like if I go to the market or anyone goes to the market, the minute you speak English to them like the proper way, your price has doubled. So who is kidding who? If you cannot connect to your kids. So in terms of that loudness, it's obviously, it's not just a language, it's not just learning about your country, it's skills as well. So for me, exposure, because I love my science, so robotics.
Yes.
I love my science, so building things. I love my science, so vocational centers are hopefully coming this year. So, and when I say vocational center, so that I don't digress too much, my pounded machine is like mortar and pestle. Otis, I'm going to charge him later on for this. Mr. Otis pounding machine is literally the way you would have it, like you pound.
Machine.
Pounding, and yes, like the way you have your pounded yam, the same elasticity, everything is perfect. So I use his machine for that. But when it comes to my smoothie or my juice, I can't use the normal blender because I'm worried that the materials that have been used in that can leach into my food. I'm worried I can buy the blender and then it blows up the next day or whatever it is. So we've then come up with this vocational center where you can bring local manufacturers and then the alumni group of Imperial too, like a few of them have said they are ready to transfer the theory into practical, bring that together. And with kids that are interested in engineering, start building little prototypes. So products made for the Nigerian market by Nigeria that can be consumed. So giving employment to people as well and something we can be proud of.
Yes, so I really love what you're doing. And I just want to ask if you think the parents are leaving all the responsibility to maybe the teachers and people like you who will come up with this innovation. Because the child, the first point of learning a child has is the mother.
It's the mother, yes, I agree.
And if in your house you cannot take your children to the village, you cannot teach your children about your culture, even if you don't know so much about it, a few things about your culture, they cannot ask your children where they are from and they will mention it. Don't you think we're not doing enough as parents? We just want to pay fees and allow other people just teach our children all the foreign things and forget about where we are. Don't you think we are slacking as parents? And how do you think we can help and even support this thing you're doing? Because no matter what you do on the outside, if they come home and it's not reinforced by the parents, it will not stick.
Okay, so basically, I fully agree. Parents are very culpable in this. We are not doing enough, if I'm being, and that was what I found as well. And that's why I started this, because I realized, oh my God, I feel I'm Nigerian and my own child cannot do this. So that for me, parents. So parents have to start changing their thinking and understanding that what you sow is what you reap. So if you do not put that Nigerian culture in them, so to say, like make that effort to say, at home, we only speak Yoruba. So which is what I do in my house now. You only speak Yoruba to me. If you want something in it, I'm like, Miogo. You know? So that is forcing that. But then it would be nice if that is reinforced as well in school. Because like I said, my school does not offer that. And so does some of the other international curriculum-based schools. And that's because it's not legally required of them. So some do a few things, maybe after school club and everything. Now, when I traveled, like when I went for my A-levels, it was compulsory. 2 hours every Friday. I remember the first time I pushed back, like, oh, I only came for A-levels. Why should I learn God Save the Queen, learn about this? But I realized, I saw the positive side of it because I could understand the people better. So how about the government making it legal, legislating it, saying, as long as you're in our country, be it 1 hour a week, teach our kids and foreigners that are in our country about Nigeria. That is showing that you are proud of what you have. That is showing that you want them to
Ministry of Information is protecting the president's interests. They are just replying newspapers. They don't have this information.
But at least, thank God,
they are watching the show.
History is back in our curriculum.
Yes, it is.
My son is taking on his
history back. So it was taken out.
So yeah.
So you wonder why that was done in the first place. Well, I really don't know.
So we have to go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So I wanted to ask you, what's your long-term dream? What's that objective you hope to achieve, and what kind of collaboration are you looking to have to achieve these dreams?
So long-term will be to reach Nigerians, just not in Nigeria, but in diaspora as well. So I'm talking Amazon, Netflix, in-flight entertainment. So making that in terms of getting the material, meaning...
What's the material, the animation?
The animation. So states and capital, national anthem, our history, past presidents, resources found in Nigeria. So things that were taught in social studies and a bit more general studies as well.
How many episodes do you have?
13 episodes. 13 episodes.
Okay, let's talk
Could you
about
give us,
languages.
no, let's talk about the animations. Could you just give us an idea of what this animation is like? Are there the characters?
Okay.
Are there people that we know in a form, you know?
Yeah.
In a
things
way.
like that, yeah.
So it's based on 3 main characters. So you have Ayo, who is a Yoruba boy. You have Alima, who is Hausa, who is a Hausa girl. And then you have Antiego, who is the Igbo lady taking the class. So obviously the 3 main tribes.
Okay.
So obviously for next seasons, we'll introduce more tribes. So Fulani, South, obviously trying to grow that. But the long term is to have characters our kids can relate with. But those characters will teach them the culture, our heritage, in a fun way, and our morals in a fun way, and make them fall in love with our country. So, oh my God, Nigeria has these resources. We are so talented. We have all these resources. We can do this and skills.
So let's talk landmarks in your cartoons. For instance, Nigerians don't eat at restaurants that sound African.
Yes.
They like to eat at restaurants that sound... So
Who tell you that one?
Where did you get that?
I went to Jevnik yesterday. Oh, please.
No, even Jevnik.
Very traditional.
No, the meals are traditional. I'm saying
we
the
watch
just
branding.
mentioning brands on this
So
table.
when we go out,
Yes.
we sort of put one area as the AJ City area and the VGC area because they sound foreign. That's the truth. Take it from me.
The data experts.
How
Statistician.
when you break the table, they will tell you, you do it. I'm from this area where they have the names. Where you go to a street, one street sounds very Nigerian. It has the bam. If you hear Oganego, for instance, you say, I know that area is one area. You know?
Yes.
We do that.
Yes.
Are you doing something about that in this content to change mindset for these kids that we are growing, to normalize having African names, African streets, and pronouncing them without flinching?
So that's in season 2. So, and I see what you're saying. It even comes, even with our names. So my best friend in secondary school came back about 6 years ago, and she named our first daughter, well, we have the same name, Bisola. And then she said she doesn't bear Bisola abroad, that she prefers to be called Lizzie or Elizabeth. And I'm like, Bisola, do you know the meaning of Bisola? It means born into wealth, So you have to, yes,
because he has to have one foreign appeal.
Yes, and then you have a child called Yewande to be being called Wendy. So that's one of the... Yes. No, but it's
So
also...
Bisola means the same thing as Olabisi because born into wealth is also my name.
Yes, so there you go. We can share today.
No.
I would like to share with you.
I know. So it's a swap for the name and it means the same thing.
Yes, Olabisi. Yeah, so Bisola. So, but then she was not proud of that. So that comes into with the street names as well. You are not proud to pronounce it. So but if you look at it, it's rich. The way the pronunciation,
because
the tonation.
We want the expatriates to appeal to them.
It doesn't appeal to them.
No, they appeal to them.
So I wrote a children's book.
Okay.
And I deliberately made sure that there were middle belter names.
Okay.
Names that are not so common. So it's not the Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo names. And some of the names are a bit of a mouthful. And I remember in the beginning when I was writing it, I got advice. I was like, could you find shorter names? Which is good because you want to be able to make sure everybody is able to read and understand it. But I'm happy I didn't change the names. And it's because I would see video feedback of people struggling to pronounce it. And for me, that is a win already.
Yes, exactly.
That you're struggling to pronounce it and then you're asking questions. Yeah. So, like you, I'm seeing the importance of telling our stories in our language and sort of like music, one day we're able to export it on a global scale. So I want to know that if I am a 10-year-old and I come to your school, what I would be learning and what I will be able to teach someone who is not in your school. Okay. What will be? Do you understand?
The animation.
It's animation. So it's not my club.
That's the club.
So I am moved from the club. It's not animation.
Oh, okay.
So everyone, because I realized with the club people were not attending. So it's the content.
Oh,
so it's I guess
now,
global content.
that's the clarity I was looking for.
Okay.
So you're trying to export this 13 episodes you have right now
Exactly.
to schools, or to do it on YouTube, or is it what exactly?
So it's on TV stations.
It's on TV stations.
It's on
So
TV stations right now. Yes.
So
But then I'm open because I've realized that not everybody watches DSTV as much. So that ends the need for Netflix, Amazon Prime, and especially to reach Nigerians in diaspora as well. So eventually it will end up obviously on YouTube as well. But that's what. Yes, exactly. But then you have so you have content, and apart from the content, you have nursery rhymes. Because it was while I was doing this research, I found out that for a long time we were taught Sandalili is actually standard living.
So do we have?
Yes,
so you have Nigerian rhymes?
nursery rhymes. Yeah. So for every episode, there's a nursery rhyme afterwards.
Nigerian nursery rhyme.
Nigerian nursery
what about
rhyme.
history? Is history
Yeah,
incorporated
yes,
in here?
everything. So in every show, there's history, there's culture, there's everything, and then at the end, there's question and answer time, and then at the end we have the nursery rhyme. So standard living is number one.
I think
Debola Williams wrote a book, about African women heroes I used for my daughter. I was wondering, do you have such African women, Nigerian heroes, women, past from our history,
Highlighted,
made their personalities part of your...
Oh yes, so Queen Amina is one of them.
Yeah.
I remember going about that. And then in terms of, and then obviously it was getting a bit long, so I just touched on a few other women as well. But I remember Queen Amina standing out on that. Yeah.
Okay, one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you here was just to congratulate you for
Thank you, Mariah.
the work you're doing, the innovation, the fact that you thought of the need, you saw a need.
Yes.
I'm hoping that now that history is in our schools, more people will come up with the idea, the realization that we need to find the identity and continue to celebrate what is ours. So hopefully we'll have more of you, because it's not good just one person to do something like this, but it's a good thing. And I'm happy that you started with just 13 episodes. You hope to produce more, and then hopefully we can also get it not just in TV stations, but in schools.
Yes.
They can actually watch this, because I know that schools actually do watch videos during school hours. So some of this can be used during history lessons.
It's my book.
So,
we can talk about that.
Thank you very much. Let's take a few comments on social media to wrap up.
Blessing says, I'm definitely watching this news live. Great program. Kudos to you, firstly. I'd really like to thank the Proudly Nigerian After Club, but definitely don't want anyone on my neck. Okay. Andrew says, I love this woman, Proudly Nigerian. She knows who she is. I am not an Omwali. God bless her. Noluwatoyin says, thank you, Proudly Nigerian After School Club, for what you have done.
So maybe you shouldn't only give up on the after school club. Maybe some people might be interested. You can still do a bit more work on that. That would be really nice, especially now that history is back.
Exactly.
People might need an after school club to reinforce the lessons they've learned in history. So you might want to reconsider. But thank you very much for
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
That is all we can take on today's show. I hope you learned a few things that we have. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.